Okay, so I'm just gonna show pieces of, I guess, the episodes in this animated 1987 animated series. I showed this in the last video a little bit. The Invasion of the Turtle Snatchers was episode 37, and it came out on November 14th. And Invasion of the Turtle Snatchers is a play on words of the book by Jack Finney, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And he died on November 14th, 1995, which is exactly 6 years after this episode came out. Okay, so in this 37th episode here, Donatello gets abducted by aliens, and they take him up on the spaceship. And when he gets there, he thinks he's in a different dimension, and he talks about that. Then, when Donatello finally meets the aliens, the alien explains that they vacationed to Earth 4,000 years before, and they're actually from the star system Antares. And Antares, Enter the Stars had a video on that. I'll hopefully leave a link, or you can just check him out and come watch this video. Also, I bought this a long time ago. Antares is the company who created Autotune, and it was founded by Harold Hildebrand, which is HH, which is year 88. And this is the alien and then his family. And the reason that they came back to Earth was because their son had forgot one of his toys, and the humans built a nuclear power plant over it. And they're trying to get it back, but if they move it, it'll destroy the Earth or something like that. But anyway, here, check out how many arms these people have. They all have 6 arms. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So you got 6, 6, 6. And check out the alien's weapon here. He uses this. He can use this to do all kinds of stuff in the episode. It's a freaking cube. So his weapon is the cube. And this isn't just to this episode, but on Splinter's robe on these cartoons, he has the State Farm logo on here, which I just did a video on. It's the triangle with the 3 8s in it. There's an 8, an 8, and an 8. I just thought that was interesting. It's kind of hard to notice, but it's right there. And then in this episode, they have a countdown. They're trying to stop it. I can't remember what's going to happen. The nuclear thing's going to go off or whatever. The first time they show the countdown is at 30. So 22 seconds later, they show it again at 8. That's just pretty interesting that they show it at 30. They wait 22 seconds, and the next time they show it is at 8, and that's when the turtles finally try to get there to stop it. And that was about it, really, in these really undetailed episodes. But the aliens say they're going to come back in 3,000 years or whatever, and then the episode ends. All right, and so the 73rd episode, I said, was the 8th episode in season 4, and it's called Rondo in New York. And I instantly thought of Rajon Rondo, the Boston Celtics player. I'm not going to re-show it because I did show it in the last video, that he was born on February 2nd or February 22nd, which is 2/2/2, and a bunch of other stuff, like the Boston Celtics played the New York Knicks, not in New York though, but they played them preseason this year on October 8th and on October 11th. So 8/8 and 8/11. And then that's weird that they played them 2 days. They also play them in New York on February 3rd of next year, 2015, so 23. And then they play them in Boston on 12/12 in a few days here. But okay, so this is Rondo in the episode. He's like a famous movie star like Rambo or Sylvester Stallone, or I don't even know, Chuck Norris with the headband here. But Michelangelo here, he says that April got him 4 tickets to go see the movie premiere of and it's Rondo 8. And I think it's called Hardest Hitter. So you have your HH and it's Rondo number 8. It's called Rondo 8 Hit Hardest, not Hardest Hit. But the HH doesn't, it's still the same. All right. Well, there's not a whole lot of background symbolism or anything in this episode. Basically, they have this vitalizer and they bring back inanimate objects to life. So these movie monsters and whatnot come to life, and then they have to try to defeat them. That's basically the whole episode. There's nothing really in the background. I mean, that I noticed anyway. Okay, so the 88th episode that deals with time. It's called Donatello Makes Time, and it's about Donatello making a machine that can stop time. Before I even get to the episode here, the episode was written by this guy, Dennis Marks. And check this guy out. Born August 2nd, which could be 2 8s. Died 8 years ago at the age, you guessed it, 73. And now you scroll down here to his career and whatnot. Originally he wasn't doing cartoons, but then that's what basically his career turned into. And it says, Marks was hired by head of King Features TV, Al Braddox. So let's click on him. Oh, he's 88 years old this year. February 14th, 1926. 88 years old. So he was hired by that guy to bring to television the comic strips of William Randolph Hearst. William Randolph Hearst. He died at age 88. I also work for a company that I literally log into myhearst.com. Myhearst whatever. That's what I have to clock in. So his company owns the building that I work for. That's kind of interesting to me. Dennis Marks also it says, I can't even find it now. He acted the role of the Green Hornet in both Spider-Man series and was Dr. Faustus in one episode of Amazing Friends and provided several additional voices for the Incredible Hulk. Dr. Faustus. Enter the Stars just had a video a while back on Faust, the 1926 movie. And this character actually got his name from that. Faustus' name comes from the famous character of Christopher Marlowe's Renaissance play, The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus, about a man who sold his soul to Lucifer in exchange for 24 years of service from a devil called Mephistopheles or whatever, in order to gain all knowledge. That's pretty interesting that guy would voice him. Then later on he worked with Dungeons and Dragons, so D&D 4 and 4, 44. And the creator is Gary Gygax, or however you say it. He died in 2008, and he died in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is on the 88th West Meridian. Dennis Marks also wrote the story for the animated television film Yogi Bear and the Magical Flight of the Spruce Goose. The guy who played Yogi Bear in the movie was Dawes Butler, and he died in 1988 at the age of 71. Now, that doesn't seem that interesting, but 88, and he was 71 years old. Now, the person who played Boo Boo Bear was born in 1926, so he's 88 years old. And he died at the age, or he would have been 88 years old, and he died at age 71. So Yogi Bear, the guy who played him, was born or died in 1988, age 71, and then he would be 88 years old, and he died age 71. That's pretty strange. And now that I'm thinking about it, it says he died in 1997, which was 17 years ago. So he died at age 71, and then 17 years ago, so that's a mirror image, 71 and 17. And he also plays Boo Boo Bear, which is BBB, or 888, or 222. I'm assuming Yogi Bear was named after Yogi Bear. He was actually 88 years old until May 12th of this year. And even he sold his house, or he was selling his house this year, May 1st, 2014, for $888,000. He also wore number 8. If you read up here, it says, Berra, who quit school after the 8th grade. And also here, so here's his number again, but on August 22nd, 1988, he was honored with a plaque to be hung at Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. Man, he's surrounded by 8s. Okay, so finally the actual episode here. Donatello invents a thing that stops time, and Michelangelo doesn't really believe him, so he's his first test subject. And he jumps up in the air, and then Donatello shoots him with the deal, and it stops him in midair, and it stops time for him. But if you look down here in the corner, they got 2 tires sitting next to each other randomly. They make an 8, and then he stops time. And like I said, most of these episodes aren't really that detailed. I think it's just the title and maybe the themes in them. There's nothing really in the background a whole lot. But they mentioned multiple times in this episode that if the time machine or the time stopping machine falls into the wrong hands, then or people who are evil, it could cause chaos in the world. You know, it's just a little subliminal thing that the wrong people can control everyone basically with it. All right, so then we have episode 106. It's called Once Upon a Time Machine, and look when it comes out. March 29th, 1991, the 88th day of the year. All right, so in this episode, Krang, the brain guy, he explains that time is like a ribbon, and the past is here, the present, and the future, and occasionally certain things happen, and it jumbles up. And when it jumbles up, you can travel to the future. But when the ribbon does this, it forms a V. So you have your 22. And then right here, do you notice in the background here, the B5 in the graffiti? B is 2, 5 is a V, so 2, 2, 2. And then the peace sign right here, which is also a 2, a 22, or a 222. So then they actually travel to the future, Shredder does, and they get there, and he says, what? This is only the year 2036? 2036 is actually 22 years in the future from 2014. And then the old turtles are fighting the young turtle, or fighting Shredder, and the young turtles went to the future to help him or whatever. And they say, use their wits. And then Donatello says, but hurry, we've only got 2 minutes to get back to our own time.